The Raptors made another enemy in a ref last night, and we'll see if tomorrow happens to be the same story. Welcome to Hoop Talks. Welcome back, you guys. I'm Noor Zainab, next to Jelani Goodridge-Reid and Justin Pooni. It seems like we start off every single episode the same way because the Raptors lost again last night. Another net rating Raptors struck once again. They had a pretty solid first quarter. They were leading by 25 points, limited the Clippers to 17 points, and that was the highlight of the entire game. That was all they could do the entire way through. So, guys, what happened to the Raptors in the second half?
They fell apart.
Why?
Again, you can't be winning games and shooting 38% from the field.
No.
They shot 38% from the field, and here's the crazy thing. They outshot the Clippers from three-point range, right? The Clippers shot 30% from the three-point line. The Raptors statistically shot better from the free throws. They grabbed the rebounds are about the same. You know, they had just as many assists. Numbers-wise, it was all right, but they gave up 60 points in the paint. They only had 42. They shot ineffective, and quite frankly, you can't do that and expect to win games, especially against a team like the Los Angeles Clippers, where Kawhi Leonard did attack the paint, as we saw when he posterized Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
He had a tough game last night.
Yeah,
Jelani.
well, if you're looking at it, I'm just not happy with the offense. The offense to me at times, and we've been talking about this throughout the season, right? How it just lacks some creativity, man. I know we're beating a dead horse. Like we're saying this over and over and over, but again, it just looks like at times the offense just can't hang with some of the better teams in the league, right? And it's very inconsistent because some games we're talking about, okay, they show up in terms of the shooting numbers, right? And then other games, it's like, where are they? Like, what are they doing, right? So I was looking at this game and I'm saying to myself, there was a lack of aggression that I saw with the Raptors. I don't know what it was, but I'm seeing the Clippers. They took it to us in the paint. You're looking at the paint points, 60-42. Thank you very much. If you're a Clippers fan, you like that.
Absolutely.
If you're a Raptors fan, you're not interested in that, of course, right? And I saw like a lot of the time, if it was Kawhi, if it was PG, or if it was the other guys like Terrence Mann, he hurt us too. They went inside and they bullied us inside, right? And then on the flip side to that, you're looking at the Raptors, right? I didn't see that aggression. I didn't see these guys want to get those tough baskets. I didn't see, and that plays into the lack of free throws. We'll talk about the refs later, right? But at the same way, you're looking at the Raptors and you're saying they didn't really look like they wanted to get fouls. They didn't really search for those tough buckets, right? And I think that was something that you see, like for example, you're looking at Pascal Siakam, Scotty
attempts.
Yeah, like you got to get to the line, right? And you're seeing, okay, you get an opportunity to drive, but then they stop. They rely on that pivot foot, and then they look to the outside for a bad look, right? They look to the outside, you get a bad shot. You can't be having that happen. And look, at times, yes, the defense showed up for the Clippers, right? Inside, Zubats and those guys, they made it tough, so you can't blame them for that. But the same way, I'm like, you can't always rely on trying to drive and then stopping immediately, and then again going to that pivot foot and then looking for a bad opportunity on beyond the arc. That can't work. So I think the offense needs to show up.
Even with the free throw discrepancy, I thought the Raptors took 25 more shots than the Clippers.
They did.
Even if you add in the free throw discrepancy, they still took 11 more shots than the Clippers. My problem there, I know the first quarter looked amazing because the Raptors were coming out on top and they looked like they were defending everybody. 7 turnovers in the first quarter. Did that to the Clippers. But my issue there was you only pulled ahead by 8 points. That should have been a double-digit lead going into the second quarter to give your bench a little bit of room so that they don't have to worry about playing perfect. That's what happened. Gary Trent Jr. did not play perfect. Precious Achiuwa did not play perfect. It was pretty much just Chris Boucher off the bench. But we know what happens in the second quarter. The third quarter is the Raptors. You're not going to have a good time with the Raptors in the other quarters. But the fourth quarter is where the net rating Raptors strike. And they struck again last night. In the last minute, they pulled in within 4 points, but it just didn't work out for them. So how worried are you at their ability to not close out games?
It's probably the biggest reason why they're in the situation they're in right now. They can't win the close game at all this year. How many times have we come on this show on a daily basis and talked about fourth quarter in the Raptors? They fumbled the bag in the fourth quarter. It's what happens with this team. And again, their offense in the fourth quarter looks stagnant. It looks bad. And again, they can't really defend at the end of the games either. Just they fall apart. Once again, they take a Western Conference team that is much better than them and get off talent-wise, right? And they get off to a hot start, but they can't capitalize on that at all. And when I look at that, even if they do make the playoffs or the play-in, how are you going to expect to win any games if you have no semblance of basketball IQ or knowledge in the fourth quarter? You can't win games at all when you struggle in the fourth like that. And that's why they're in this position. Again, the Clippers had a double-digit lead, and the Raptors start clawing back. But again, it's a tale of
Same
too
old
little, too
story,
late.
exactly.
Right?
But Jelani, how confident are you that they might get it together at some point?
I don't know.
In the fourth.
Because the problem is, and the inconsistency is there, right? So at times you're going to say, yes, this team is capable because you see the flashes. You see the flashes of brilliance from our all-star Pascal Siakam, and then you get contributions from other guys. But then again, we see nights like these where we're not good enough to hang with those better teams because the Clippers showed up, right? And our question was, will the Raptors be able to show up when called upon? And we saw guys that just didn't, do enough. And I'm looking at Gary Trent Jr. I think Gary, again, we even talked about how important he is, right, to this team moving forward. You gotta score more than 7 points, man. I'm sorry, you can't be doing that. You can't, because when I see Gary score, the Raptors win. That's the equation.
You didn't back up my case for him to be starting at all last night.
Well, it's the inconsistency there, right? But I just saying, like, when he scores, we win games.
I think that was that was also a matchup where you can talk about how you can utilize OG and Gary based off matchups. You have a Clippers team that's not playing great defense right now. They're also struggling offensively. They've been losing quite a bit of games. 5-game losing streak they had, right? The Raptors helped that out, so you're welcome, Clipper fans. But I think in terms of that, like, you need to get everybody involved. And Gary Trent, absolutely, this is where he should have been shining. And you said it too. I think when Gary Trent goes off, it's almost like he has to score well for the Raptors to win. But I'm looking at Pascal Siakam. He had 20 points last night. In his last 5 games, he's averaged 17 points. Should this not be the time for him to expect and be urgent?
Because he is an all-star, okay? He's an all-star, and you expect your all-stars to show up when called upon, when you need them most. And we understand throughout the year he's been asked to do a lot because the other guys haven't really stepped up, of course. But in these spots against a Clippers team that's playing for something, of course, the West is crazy right now. Raptors, same way, though. They're playing for something. They're playing for their playoff lives. These are playoff games. That's where Pascal has to look. The 20 points, thank you, great, but I want more than that.
21 shots to get 21 points.
If he had just like 5 more points in Denver, we win that game.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem right now. And the Clippers, you talked about it, Noor. The Clippers defense has not showed up at all, okay, over the last 5 to 6 games, right? They were giving up 131 like it was nothing. Remember that game against Sacramento? What happened? Okay,
God.
I think the shooting numbers have to be up. It's not just Pascal, of course, but the shooting numbers overall, they have to be up. From downtown, I mean, you pointed out the numbers, right? If you break down the box score, they were, you would think the Raptors showed up, but what the eye test, the offense, to me, is just not there right now, guys. So that's why my question is, moving forward, we got the Lakers coming up. We got some important games moving forward as we come back home. But then we have another road trip. So how is the offense going to look?
I don't know. You look at Pascal, you got 20 points on 21 shots, right? He was a team worst minus 12 last night. That's not cognitive winning for your best player.
No.
If Pascal Siakam is the best player, I need him to be aggressive, take those shots, but find a way to get to the line as well.
And look at the convo we're having. We're saying Gary Trent has to come up, but Gary Trent's your bench. He's your 6th man. So we're expecting our 6th man to win us the game. That's not fair, and that has to fall on the starters at some point. But we know the Raptors were not they were the reason why they lost. We know why they lost, but they've been dealing with the referee factor for quite some time now. Let's look at the last game. Let's look at this game. And I feel like Ben Taylor, Scott Foster has been getting their 15 minutes and have been capitalizing on that the entire way through. So, last night, Fred VanVleet catches the tech. Elner, would you please play the clip?
I mean, I don't mind. I'll take a fine. I don't really care. I thought, Ben Taylor was terrible tonight. I thought that on most nights, a couple of out of the 3, there's 1 or 2 that just the game up. And it's been like that a couple games in a row. Denver was tough, obviously. You come out tonight, you're competing pretty hard. The third quarter, I get a bullshit tech. changes the whole dynamic of the game, changes the whole flow of the game.
Well, Fred said after the Nuggets game that he's going to bite his tongue. Well, last night he did not bite his tongue
Fred.
whatsoever. Guys, what do you make of what Fred had
First
to
of
say?
all, shout out to Fred. If you're gonna go up on the refs, man, get every
I love it.
Get every expletive you can. Dude, say this, that. If you're gonna get fined, you might as well take it, push to the limit. Don't just put your toe over the line. Just dive full into it.
You know what I realized too? I think like while he was talking, in his head you could tell that he was like, okay, you know what? I've just passed the 15K mark.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just make it 15K.
Yeah,
I'll
might as
get
well.
it. Might
Might as
as
well.
well.
Just
now.
get it all
Yeah.
out there.
Who
But look,
cares?
man, like he's a frustrated. Like Fred VanVleet is a competitor. He's got that dog in him, right? It's all dog in this mud. Shout out to producer Stevie Z out there. His favorite line of the day. But I think when I look at Fred VanVleet and I look at that, yeah, it shouldn't have been a tech. And Ben Taylor and him don't have the best relationship this year going so far. So yeah, he's pissed. They lost a big game. They're pissed. Did he cross the line? Absolutely not, man. The refs have been atrocious this year.
Absolutely.
Speak your piece.
Jelani,
Speak
I
your
gotta
mind.
ask you, as Justin just said,
Yeah.
Ben Taylor, when officiating Fred VanVleet, he's given out. Fred VanVleet's got 4 texts when Ben Taylor has been in attendance, but Ben Taylor has personally given out 3, 2 in one game and one out.
Fishy
So
behavior.
as
going on.
a player that enters the court thinking, okay, I'm about to be next to neutral places who are supposed to, correct the game from a perspective of pretty much Switzerland. But now you're like, I'm heading in here and this guy's been giving me tech after tech after tech. So what does that do to you psychologically?
It's a real problem because if you're looking at Ben Taylor and his relationship this season with Fred, let's put it in its proper perspective, guys. Okay, he has called more texts. Like the percentage of texts called for Fred from Taylor is higher than Fred's 3-point percentage.
That's crazy.
Okay?
That's crazy. That is a crazy
Look,
stat right
That
there,
should be
ladies
a
and gentlemen.
betting stat.
Like
though.
honestly, guys, I think there's a problem here. I think there's a real problem here, and that's the thing we've been talking about
Right.
throughout the year. It's not just Raptors fans; it's fans across the board. The refs. Fred even said it. We're not there for the refs. We're not there for you, bro. We didn't show up to Crypto Arena, Crypto.com. It's still
Staples
should
Center.
be
Just
called
call it Staples Center.
right?
Staples Center.
Whatever. We're not there for Ben Taylor.
No.
Okay, we're not there to see you make your presence felt. And we talked about the free throws real quick. Okay, the difference in free throws was pretty big, right? And 24 points off those free throws for the Clippers. That was a big difference in that game, of course. And yes, I'll say that the Raptors should have played better. Simply played better to win that game. But I'm not gonna ignore what happened over the last 2 nights. Okay. Denver was a problem with Scott Foster. We know who he is. Okay, we know his history.
Main character energy.
Absolutely. And then the problem here with the Clippers was that they were being favored. Can we be fair? They were being favored in that game. Okay, you want to talk about the difference in free throw shooting that played a big role, and then there are just some bad calls across the board night after night. And then when you're talking about NBA fans and when we're watching these games, right, you're seeing time and time again just dumb calls. Like if you want to talk about the Jordan Poole thing the other night, just passing the ball to the ref. How are you getting T for that? That happens to Trae Young all the time too. He just tossing the ball to the ref. T? How? Luka Doncic, he'll talk to himself or talk to his teammates after a bad play. T, how does that happen in this NBA? This is not my NBA. No. Okay.
Not David
And
Stone's
what's
NBA.
different now? I'm finding, I think a lot of the times the national media, everybody else, was to be very scared of calling out the referees. But Eleanor, if you don't mind playing Stephen A. going off on the refs, please bring that up for me.
You're in the heat of battle. You're guarding somebody. You're doing something. And a referee makes a call and you're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you made that call. That's a technical foul too, because you engaged in histrionics and you overreacted. Excuse me. I thought passion was a part of the game. I thought emotion was a part of the game. You can't sit up there and let somebody make that kind of decision without giving them a technical foul or, dare I say, ejecting them from the game. The referees aren't completely culpable in all of this. The league office has definitely given them that power and encouraged them to make some of these calls.
Here, Stephen A. Smith. Never thought I'd say that out loud in one sentence together. But it's not just Stephen A. Smith. It's Marcus Smart as well. He came out and he said that, you know what? I agree with whatever Fred's saying. I'm going to keep my mouth shut and I'm going to let him take care of the fine and he's going to, worry about whatever he has to do. So this is something that's happening around the league. And as Stephen A. Smith said, he said that when you're on the, if you look at the Raptors when they caught those texts, they got those texts because they were complaining about what the ref the foul that they had given them. So now you can't even complain. Are you allowed to show any kind of emotion as an NBA player?
No histrionics allowed.
Yeah,
Shout out to
no.
Stephen A for that histrionics.
It's an abuse of power at this point. Okay,
Power trip.
the refs are given the
Yeah.
power. Okay, but yeah, they abuse it. All right, and we see that the league is trying. Like Adam Silver, he wants to talk about this new Hawkeye system that they want to put in place to make calls better for goaltending and things of that nature down the stretch of games. That's great, but to me, it's just you gotta chill. If you're the refs, you gotta relax. All right, because a lot of these games are decided by these refs and these bad calls. It's just true. It's just a fact.
Well, it seems like the NBA might have a referee problem, so I got to ask you guys before we go. I know the Raptors aren't helping their case right now. They're not losing because of the referees, but they aren't helping the case either. Could this be true?
I mean, the referee group is probably a nice, tight brotherhood. They like to stick
Yes.
together and stuff like that. So you never know. But again, the Raptors, I think, just used to play just better basketball, and I think that will solve all problems.
Look, I don't disagree with you because
Yeah.
you have the Denver game again. Like you had
Winnable game.
a couple leads in that fourth quarter before that stuff with Scott even happened, right? And then this game, you had a pretty good first half, right? And then the second half, you actually hold Kawhi. Kawhi had 17 in the first half, didn't really score in the second half. You got to play better, all right? You got to play more consistent basketball down the stretch. And as we get closer to those playoffs, you got to finish. All right, this team does not know how to finish. That's the problem.
Well, let's see if the Raptors can make it to the playoffs first. But on
Yeah,
the way
in.
there, we're going to see the Lakers first and foremost. On
Justin's
Friday,
team.
the
They're all my
Raptors
team. They're all
take
my
on the Lakers without LeBron James. But Anthony Davis has been going off. 35 points in his absence. And the Raptors are going to have to stop him. So how do the Raptors take on the task that's going to be Anthony Davis tonight, you guys?
Look, man.
Sorry, tomorrow night.
Anthony Davis, you guys know I'm not a big Anthony Davis guy. I think
Day-to-day Davis?
You know me.
I think LeBron carries him, but Anthony Davis the last couple games has been balling. And you know what he's been doing? He hasn't been falling to those jump shots. He's been taking the ball to the hoop, using his. He got bumped in the face, had a bloody nose.
Yep.
He didn't go to the locker room. He did go to the bench.
He didn't shatter. He was fine.
He actually stayed in the game, guys. He got
Ooh.
hurt and stayed in the game. I like what I've been seeing from Anthony Davis right now. He's showing you why he was a highly touted player. People are saying he's a top 5 player in the league. It's going to be a very tall order to play with him because once Anthony Davis is playing with confidence and he's healthy,
Yeah, it's tough.
watch out because he's not only a menace on the offensive side, but the defensive side of the game
Yeah,
too. He
he
can
can do
lock you
both.
down with the best of them. So the Toronto Raptors are going to need to really focus on him, but the Lakers also have shooters now too. So, and D'Angelo Russell might be back as well.
And what if
Yeah.
he's back tomorrow, Jelani? How do the
Honestly,
Raptors handle that?
D'Lo, he could be a problem, right? He could be a problem. He could set the floor, set the table for the Lakers, get them into some instant offense too from the transition game. Transition also has been a problem as well for the Raptors defensively at times. Okay, we saw even the Clippers, they took advantage of that at times last night. So I hope that if he does play, that the guards are ready to move because D'Lo, he sets the table. Like I said, he can move that offense around all over the place, and that pick and roll game with a guy like AD could be present. So how does Jakob respond in that area, right? That defense has to be there inside, right? So I think the Lakers, though, they could shoot like Justin said. They have some nights where they get hot out of nowhere.
Dude,
right?
they're honestly, I think they won the trade deadline. How the pieces that they acquired
Pelinka?
and Malik Beasley, threat from the 3-point line. You have D'Angelo Russell now, who again I think if he's actually going to be playing tomorrow night, it's going to be tough for the Raptors because now you have to game plan for D'Angelo Russell on the Lakers. We don't know what that looks like, so how do you game plan around that? It's going to be a big task for Nick Nurse. And then I like my guy Vanderbilt.
Jared Vanderbilt.
Jared
Yeah,
He's
very
very
good
good pick.
Yeah.
Very good
Love
pick,
him.
yeah.
I think he's like a I don't know, like a target Stanley Johnson. Like the way that he plays, his energy, his will on the court, him running around getting the ball. He helped the Lakers come back against the Mavericks. His energy on the court doesn't quit. And that's what I want to see from the Raptors, actually, because I don't see the Raptors moving to get the ball, but he's literally, you will see him at the key, and the next second he's in the paint getting the rebound. That's the kind of hustle play that you want to see, even if you're not a good player. If you make those extra passes, if you go out there and put your body on the line, that does so much for your team. And I think that's where he will be super annoying tomorrow night. So the Raptors going to have to, take care of that. But for the Raptors, Who do you expect to come up big against the
Gary
Lakers?
Trent Jr.
Ooh.
It's that simple. Gary Trent
Clutch
Jr.
client Gary Trent Jr.
Clutch client.
You think Rich Paul's gonna be at the game?
He's gonna be- he was
You never
last
know.
night.
Yeah, he was,
He
right?
was last night, yeah.
You never know. I just, again, going back to our previous topic, I feel as whenever he scores, the Raptors are a much better team, all right? Because he gives us another element. He's another scorer, right? And the Raptors have been lacking in terms of a guy that could create, a guy that could get his shots up and actually put them in the hole, right? Like, the problem is Gary, the inconsistency has been there. The Washington game, remember, the first game in Washington, right?
Just swapped them.
Yeah, is he an OG? They basically swapped performances, right? And then you saw in Denver, he provided, some spark. I thought he should have
was
played a
efficient
bit. Yeah, I
against
think he
Denver.
should have played a bit more in the fourth quarter, like down the stretch against Denver. Could have helped us win that game. But and then against the Clippers, right? It didn't really show up. So you're seeing a pattern here. So after a poor outing, he usually shows up. That's where I think Gary can tonight. And of course, I want to see a guy like Pascal Siakam. I want to see, can he? I don't know if I stole your thunder, but I just want to see him
Thanks,
score
man.
a bit more.
Now that you took the Pascal Siakam thunder, I can't see another 9 for a 21 shot attempts for 20 points. Hey, and we didn't talk about Scotty Barnes last night. Shot a whopping 6 for 21. Bad.
He did come up in the fourth. I'll give him that.
But
But I want to see it.
You can't. I need to see more from Scotty Barnes. I don't like harping on young players because he's young, but if you really are that guy, I can't be seeing these ineffective shooting nights. He got to the line 6 times, right? I just need to see more and more efficient play from Pascal and Scotty. That's how this team is going to win
What I
games.
liked from Scotty, though, even though he missed at times, he did still stay
was
active
aggressive,
in the paint.
He
He
was
got
getting
himself
his own
second chance
rebounds.
points. Yes,
Yeah.
the rebounding was there, and then you saw opportunities for guys like OG when he would kick it out. But yeah, like you said, you do want better shooting nights.
I think it's annoying because you're like, if you can do this in the fourth quarter, I know damn well you can do this in the first 3 quarters. Like, there's no, if this is the hardest quarter to do this in,
Scotty T-Bo.
Oh man,
you
I
can
think-
do
no,
it in the
no,
first.
no, no,
That's
stop
enough.
that,
That's
stop
enough.
that.
That's enough. I don't want to hear about that again. But guys, before we end this off, are the Raptors winning CryptoArena.com? Is that the
Crypto.com.
one?
Yeah,
Crypto.com? I don't. Change your name, guys. Are they winning tomorrow night? 10:30 p.m.
10:30 p.m.
Jeez,
Eastern
late
time.
Jelani will be up
Tip-off,
Friday night.
I will
10:30.
be definitely watching. The Raptors are winning this game.
Yeah.
I said that about the
Last
last game, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I think the Lakers, though, the Lakers have been playing better.
Yeah.
Of course, AD that factor, but again, they could get got. So I think this is a night where the Raptors want to finish this road trip on a positive note. That's when they show up tonight. I think tomorrow night. I think the Lakers.
I'm gonna go
lose.
with the Raptors too.
Oh!
But here's my reasoning why I want the Blazers to make the play-in because I want Dame to
Oh
be in the
my
playoffs.
God.
So
The agenda-
I need the Lakers to lose. Like, I need the Lakers to lose.
That's not about the game.
The agenda, look, I understand the agenda. Sometimes
I
they need
need
to be pushed.
I need Dame time in playoff time, so Lakers are gonna catch
Okay,
the L there.
okay.
Yeah.
I
Also,
think
I need the LeBron agenda to be pushed too.
I think it's the Raptors tomorrow night as well. I think they had to get one win. They had to get one win on this road trip. It's gonna have to be in the Western Conference against the Nuggets, against the Clippers. Who can the Raptor outplay? If they have to, it's gonna be the Lakers. The only thing I'm worried about though is definitely the game planning, and I want to see more offense. I want to see more plays. I want Nick Nurse to draw something up. I want someone at half court to lift a finger so I know that some actual play has been practiced at the open gym, because I don't see that. I see stagnant offense. I see guys who think they're trees and they can't move, and that needs to change. Ball movement, guys. Ball movement. And we'll see if the Raptors can do this tomorrow night. See you guys again next week. Let's hope they do this. Take care.